We're in RGES Basic Math. This is lesson 1.2. We're going to be looking at addition and subtraction of whole numbers. As we're considering addition, the first thing we want to notice is the terms. Everything you're adding together, each number you're adding, whether it's 2 numbers, 5 numbers, doesn't matter. Each one of the things you're adding is called an addend, and the answer is the sum. The rule for addition is basically here. You align by the ones place. If you are not already getting your problem in vertical form, you want to make sure you're aligning those numbers correctly, and then you carry as needed. And certainly you have been doing this for a long time now, and this should be review. A hint that I would offer is that you would group your numbers in each place as you're doing your mental arithmetic by tens if possible. So let's look at our problem here. If we're looking to group this by tens, I notice that that makes one group of 10, and that makes it easier to add. So I can add these 4 numbers in any order. That's 10 with 5 and 3 more. That's 18. Again, grouping by tens makes it easier. There's one group of 10. That's 10, 16, 17. Grouping by tens. That's one group, 10. We don't have another group, so I can add these others however I care to. I'm going to take 10, then I have 17, 19, 23. And carry the 2, 4, 5, 6. So that's my answer. Go ahead and put the comma in for the thousands place. As we're subtracting whole numbers, the terms now become minuend for the top number, subtrahend for the bottom number, and difference for the answer. Addition or subtraction is the inverse of addition. What do I mean by that? Well, if I have the addition problem, 3 plus 4 equals 7, I can convert that to a subtraction problem by taking the answer, 7, and subtracting 4, and I would get 3. Or taking the answer and subtracting the other addend, and I would get 4. Notice, and you've been doing this since really primary school, where you would convert an addition problem into a subtraction problem, or a subtraction problem into an addition problem. If I have 7 minus 4 equals 3, I can convert, or 7 minus 3 equals 4, I can convert that into an addition problem by, again, starting with the bottom number, adding the other addend, 4 plus 3, to get the top number. So that's what we mean when we're saying that subtraction and addition are inverse operations. That's what it looks like mathematically. What it looks like in comprehension, perhaps, would be best illustrated by a line or anything here where I can break it into parts. If this part is 3 and this part is 4, the sum, the addition, is 7. Or, with the same picture, I can consider if the whole amount is 7 and I take away 4 of them, I'll be left with 3. Or, if I take away 3 of them, I'll be left with 4. Either way. So this is how we illustrate that addition and subtraction are very closely linked to one another. Now let's look at how you would do a typical subtraction problem. The traditional method would be based upon borrowing. Okay, so let's look at this problem. And we're going to borrow. 9 minus 7 is 2. 4 minus 5, I cannot take 5 from 4 because 5 is greater than 4, so I must go and borrow. This becomes a 2, and this becomes 10 more than the 4, or 14. Now, 14 minus 5 is 9. On the next column, I also need to borrow because 8 is greater than 2, so I must borrow from the 5 to get 4. The 2 now becomes a 12, 10 more, and 12 minus 8 is 4, and 4 minus 3 is 1. And I am assuming this is review for you. Go ahead and make sure that you are reviewing your basic addition, subtraction, facts if you are not very comfortable with them, because you will need them. Now, here is a second method that perhaps you have not seen before, and I think that a lot of students find it even a little easier. They find it easier because generally we have mastered our addition facts better than our subtraction facts. So let's think of a subtraction as an inverse or a reverse addition. I start with my 7, and I think, what do I add to 7 to get 9? And the answer is 2. What do I add to 5? Well, not to get 4, but to get 14. So if I'm talking about 14 instead, I'm going to put a little 1 down here next to my 8. What do you add to 5 to get 14? 9. What do you add to 8 plus 1, or 9, to get 13? So again, because it's a 13 and not a 3, I'll add a 1 down there. What do I add to 9 to get 13? I would have a 4. And what do I add to 3 plus 1, or 4, to get 5? And the answer is 1. So these two, as you would expect, the answers are the same. You might want to play with that reverse addition and see if you find that when you're doing your homework, see if you like that even as a better technique.